I'm Tony Cascardi. I'm the Dean of Arts and Humanities, and I am a faculty member in the departments of Comparative Literature, in Spanish, and in Rhetoric. And I want to say welcome to Berkeley, welcome to the College of Letters and Science, and most of all, welcome to the Arts and Humanities.
My name is Robert Goldman. I'm a professor of Sanskrit. I'm the Magistreti Distinguished Professor of Sanskrit at the University of California at Berkeley in the Department of South and Southeast Asian Studies.
I'm Kim Shelton, a professor in the Department of Classics and director of the Nemea Center for Classic Archaeology.
I'm Ignacio Navarrete. I'm a professor in Spanish and Portuguese, and my academic field is Spanish literature from Spain.
One of the advantages of a place like Berkeley is there's this huge variety of things you can study here. You can learn that very few places have the number of languages that a place like Berkeley can offer, and the cultures you can study, from Italian and Scandinavian studies to Chinese, Japanese, Indian, Arabic, Turkish. Just covers the globe really as a true university does.
Berkeley itself is a place of incredible freedom. I am on a daily basis astounded by how fluid and flexible, how open and intellectually vibrant this institution is. All you need to do is to show up. All you need to do is to show up, to get in a class, to go to your instructor's office hours, to talk to them, to open a conversation. They are there for you, and they will engage you and let you run wherever you want. For me, the humanities are freedom. The humanities provide an incredibly expansive space for the imagination to roam, for anyone to experience a diversity of cultures, of ways of thinking, of opportunities for imagining.
It's a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. I mean, that it just really enriches your life, opens you up to all kinds of ways that people have expressed themselves. But also it gives you an opportunity to allegorize yourself, to see yourself in different situations.
We learn about ourselves, but we also transport ourselves into other cultures, in other places, and especially in other times. And that's one way in which Star Wars is such a great example of something that grows out of a foundation in humanities.
Well, Star Wars is an example of a particular literary form in the Western humanities, or even in the world humanities, which is the saga of a hero's quest. These are the kind of things that have been studied by Joseph Campbell and others about the hero carrying out a quest against all kinds of odds and difficulties, defeating a force of evil, rescuing a virtuous princess or woman. These are stories that have been told in various forms all around the world. And we're told that Lucas, who was, of course, the originator of the Star Wars whole series, was himself influenced by this epic.
It derived from and grew out of another cultural mythological tradition. The concept of the story was based in many ways its own mythology, and one, of course, that now is expanded into all of these movies that stay true to the original mythology that was set out, both prequels and sequels. He so wonderfully weaves that into not only the quote-unquote human characters, but in all of the characters and cultures and societies that he creates. He takes in all of that he studied and then learns how to show that on film. But I don't think that he would have, any of his really works would have been the same without his educational experience and the breadth of it, really, how he brought that all together.
So Star Wars is actually a cinematic version of that story. As a matter of fact, it happens to be, to some degree, inspired by the material that I work on personally, which is an ancient Indian epic poem of exactly this theme, the hero, Skywalker, in our case, Rama. who has the distinction in the Indian thing of not being not only a hero, he's also an incarnation of the supreme deity. So this is also a religious text as well as an adventure story about his conquest of the monstrous demonic king of the evil Rakshasas who have abducted his beloved wife. Very much analogous to, Princess Leia being held by Jabba the Hutt.
In the Greek world, of course, there's a whole complex series of heroes with different names and different origin stories, and yet they follow a similar kind of pattern in their journey. Eventually, reaching a level of deity apotheosis in most cases, and that's a kind of mythological structure that we see playing out in these stories as well. And Star Wars is a good example.
These are these kind of thematic themes that you see in a lot of these epics. These become teaching texts for cultures. Now, this is a text of approximately the middle of the first millennium BCE. And it's still, you'll see it in the news every day in India today because it's so deeply imbued in the cultures of Southern Asia, not just India, but across the whole vast panoply of Southern Asia, whether it's in Indonesia or in Cambodia or Laos or Thailand or Malaysia or India or even Pakistan, Sri Lanka, you name it. These cultures orient themselves around this particular text. It's all the same story in the same way. And this is the way we see this going on into other stories like the Odyssey and Star Wars, frankly, and so on and so forth.
Well, everyone has a journey, and sometimes we think we know exactly what journey we are on, and sometimes we don't know what journey we're on.
Everyone has their own kind of epic journey, you might say, and studying these texts, reading these things, also gives you a certain insight into the human spirit, how you cope with struggles, how you cope with adversity.
Transfer students, they're coming in already with life experience and a broad education. And so that's going to be kind of their toolkit that they're going to use in their journey through, here in Berkeley and through all of these different pursuits. But to think about graduation as something like an apotheosis, is really, I think, very apropos that they learn from everything they do here. It makes them into a much better person. And as they graduate beyond, they not exactly become a deity, but they're going to be a Berkeley grad. That says something.
I think it's really important for students seeking a major to find things that they're good at and that they enjoy doing.
Take time to explore and I realize that as a transfer student, you feel like you need to take care of your major. But there is time to do other things, study abroad, even, there's all kinds of things you can work in there if you just try.
Jump in and cross that ocean, so to speak, just like Rama and Hanuman, you have to face it and deal with it.
Master Yoda, because obviously, I don't think it was just because I'm short.
Well, Luke Skywalker, of course.
I want them to say I'm Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh, okay.
I mean, come on. I'm not Han Solo anymore.
May the 4th be with you.
Welcome to Berkeley, and may the Force be with you.
May the 4th be with you.
To all of you incoming transfer students, may the Force be with you, and the 4th be with you, and go Bears.